Thank you for coming to July's Howard County Council meeting. If you'll all stand, Councilman Sanders will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Maple.
Will you please bow your heads? Father God, I thank you so much for the opportunity to come here today. We thank you for all those in attendance. We just ask that you would that you would help our world and our nation to heal and unite. Lord, there's just a lot of evil things going on, and Lord, we don't understand it. We just ask that you would intercede and keep fighting on behalf of those who are hurting and wounded and healing, Lord. We just thank you so much for our community, all the great things you provided for us. Thank you for our first responders. And we just thank you for our country, Lord, as we come to an election season this fall, and we just ask for healing for the election process and peace. Thank you so much for members up here. Let us make good decisions for our community. And holy and precious name we pray.
Amen.
Lord, ring it.
Our first order of business will be to approve the minutes from our June meeting. Are there any questions or comments about the minutes? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move we approve these minutes as submitted.
Second.
Motion's been properly made and seconded by Councilman Faulkner and Councilwoman Lake. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. The next order of business will be to address the additional appropriations. Madam Auditor.
Ordinance number 2024-HCCO-30, additional appropriations. Whereas it has been determined that it's now necessary to appropriate more money than was appropriated in the 2024 annual budget. Now therefore be it ordained by the County Council of Howard County, Indiana, that for the expenses of the taxing unit, the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated out of the funds named and for the purposes specified, subject to the laws governing the same. County General, Unified Courts, Office Supplies, $2,500, Educational Materials, $7,300, Graduation Supplies, $10,000, Incentives, $5,000, Prevention and Education, $2,000, Drug Screens, $5,000, Family and Pro-Social Events, $8,200, Office Equipment, $3,000, Total County General Fund, $43,000. Lit Special Purpose Fund, Jail, Correction Officers, $55,911.60. Howard County Convention and Visitors Commission Fund, Downtown Kokomo Conference Center, $3,750,000. Drug-Free Community Fund, Prevention Education, $17,500. Intervention Treatment, $17,500. Criminal Justice, $17,500. Discretionary, $17,500. Total Drug-Free Community Fund, $70,000. Lit Correctional Facilities Fund, Care of Individuals, $500,000. Total Lit Correctional Facilities Fund, $500,000. Pretrial Services Grant Fund, Part-Time Pretrial Probation Officer, $25,000. Total Pretrial Services Grant Fund, $25,000. Total additional appropriations for all funds, $4,443,911.60.
Thank you very much. See, Judge Elkin's not here quite yet, so we'll move on to Sheriff Asher or Dustin.
If you would like me to, I can speak. Wasn't for this, but I was aware of what happened with that.
Please. Is that okay with council members?
Sure.
Okay.
So it's my understanding that the appropriations on for tonight are in reference to the opioid settlement money that was distributed to the courts. we had a meeting with the judges to discuss the distribution of those funds, and what you read is what was discussed in that meeting and approved. At least I believe that is what you have in front of you.
Okay, we have, it's for the unified courts.
Yes, it was the drug screens, the incentives, the
Office supplies, educational materials.
yes.
So it was approved by the commissioners or?
The commissioners approved an amount for the
Okay.
courts to distribute amongst themselves, is my understanding of
Yeah.
how this process worked. And I was in a meeting with the judges, and we discussed how to best distribute that money. Some of that, about $10,000, that money supports our juvenile programming. The rest is going to be utilized with the adult programming in mind, adult services. If that's not enough information, I apologize for interrupting you and moving on, but
I appreciate you giving us what information you have.
I'd give it a try.
Yeah,
No, I think that's fine.
okay, well, by golly. Are there any questions or comments for Dustin?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Dustin.
very much. We could have Christina from Sheriff Asher's office.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi,
hello.
welcome.
So the first thing is 55,000 for corrections officers. That was a PAC recommendation from a couple months ago. It was to raise the wage from 47,099 to 49,791, so they're equal to dispatchers, and to add an additional 3 positions. And then the second was care of individuals, and that was, we're housing a lot of inmates out of county, so that's to cover the cost of that.
How's that going?
Good. Yeah, I mean, I actually just talked to an employee who worked for us. He worked for us 2 years ago, and we rehired him this year. So I asked him how everything was going, if he was smoothing back into his position, and he said it is way better to work here now than it was 2 years ago. And I said, why? And he said, because of the inmate population. He said it makes a huge difference working here without having people fighting over what was available.
The triple bunking, basically.
Yes, yeah. So it's better for employees even.
Do you happen to know the number of inmates in the jail and the number that are being housed outside the county?
There's 312 in-house, 87 out, total number of 399. So hoping to have a leeway about 7 to 10 days before we have ships. Hoping to get the policy moving. So we're trying our hard to best to.
Okay. And of course, the person speaking is Captain Matt Decker, commander of the jail. Thank you.
On the additional, I think 3 correction officers, correct? Do we have those filled?
We actually, we have 41 of 42 COs staffed. 4 are in training. 3 just came off of training. We just hired a number 42 today, so we are fully staffed. I have 3 more coming in on Wednesday to test. So if we get the 3 more positions, we can hire all 3 of those, and it will feel amazing for everyone who works here.
Now, we can expand on this just a little bit, just for reference. We had a PAC meeting 6 weeks ago or so about this very issue. And the request was that we increase the correctional officer's pay to be equal with that of the dispatcher's pay. And why there was a discrepancy, no one really knows. It happened sometime in the past, and it was minor at first, and now has grown. And so the PAC agreed unanimously that the correctional officers and the dispatchers should be paid the same. And that's where this money right here is being allotted to. And also that the council fund up to 42 correctional officers, and when that number was reached and they had a full supply of correctional officers at 42, we would increase the budget by 3 so they could hire 3 more and go up to 45 if they can do so. And if they reach the 45 correctional officers line, then we will increase it, the number that we'll fund, up to 48. We're kind of baby stepping or stair stepping up so that we're not over budgeting any line initially, and we're kind of waiting and seeing. And the sheriff's department has the confidence and our assurance that if they come, we will hire them, pretty much. Does that sound right to committee members?
Yeah, plus part of the desire was to ultimately increase the staff, but reduce the overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Stop some of the burdens that's on some of the corrections officers now that feel like, man, I never get a day off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was exactly right, John, that's the way it was discussed. And you have all 42 filled.
Yes,
I am so amazed.
me too.
That's, oh, we
Oh,
will
I did.
have
I got
3
you.
more. Wow.
So just to clarify, so the amount you're coming for tonight, that's just for the increase for the pay. That's not for any additional COs, correct?
Well, because of the amount on the pay period, I believe that was the figure for everything. I could be wrong. I'll have to double check.
Okay, just
but-
because you have extra left in that fund from the first 6 months. Okay, good to know.
Is that
Any
it?
more questions for Christina from the jail? Thank you for
Alright,
coming in.
thank you.
Thanks for the great news.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. See, is Rob Pruitt here, or is there a representative for Rob? Or drug-free community? Move on to Dustin. Dustin DeLong from Howard County Probation Department.
Good afternoon again. Just wanted to make sure I did verify that I did get on the phone with Judge Elkin, and what I relayed to you is in fact what he would have relayed to you. He offered to come over, but I told him I think we're okay. So
Okay.
just to let you know, he did offer to come over. For my request, the 9135, that is our pretrial grant. It was a grant that was not budgeted in 2023 for 2024. We did not receive that grant notice until late in the year. It was pretty much after budget hearings and everything like that, and I did not remember to budget it until I hired somebody to fill my part-time pretrial officer position and realized I didn't have a line item to pay him from. So that is why I'm here. We have a pretrial supervision program, and we have 1 full-time pretrial services officer and 1 part-time pretrial services officer. These are folks who are assisting people in the community while their cases are pending with the court, trying to get them the help that they need and making sure that they aren't causing a problem.
Any questions or comments for Dustin? Thanks for coming in, Dustin.
Thank you.
Nice
Appreciate it.
job. Yeah. Next presenter will be Sherry Matlock from the Howard County Convention and Visitors Bureau Commission. Yes, of course. Yeah.
I'll make these a little easier for you to see here. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sherry Matlock, manager of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and I am here today for an additional appropriation request in the amount of $3,750,000 for the Howard County Convention and Visitors Commission, which we often refer to as the CVB. First, I want to provide just a brief history of this project.
and this fund request that we're asking today. A downtown master plan in 2013 identified the development of a hotel and conference center as a key investment that would create a destination anchor for downtown Kokomo. Such a facility would drive economic development for the entire community, including downtown, and give more visitors an instant opportunity to patronize our downtown businesses. The CVB then conducted a feasibility study in 2014 for a hotel conference center project with Hunden Partners. We then followed up that feasibility study with a proposed conference center market study in 2019, and then a market study update in 2022, just to show that we have done some due diligence on this project as we have been working towards this for many years now. The 2022 market study update found that not only would a facility like this meet our current needs in our community, it would put our community in a position to compete for a moderate number of statewide conferences and meetings that we're currently not able to host. It would also increase visitor travel and visitor spending into Howard County, and then that new visitor travel will benefit current businesses, including restaurants, shops, and service providers, fostering a local, vibrant economy for Howard County. The CVB started setting funds aside in 2015, and every year since then, including this year, in our annual budget for a tourism-focused capital development project that would develop a new asset in our community to support and boost visitor travel and increase demand, especially in those off-season times for us, which is for us in Kokomo and Howard County winter timeframe. And those off-season times, this would help provide additional demand for visitor travel into our community. That was identified as a conference center with an attached hotel. We are now in a position and now ready to spend the funds that we have been setting aside for many years purposefully for this specific project. That amount is $3,750,000, which is our additional appropriation request today. We are requesting approval to spend the money this year in 2024 for this specific project, and that amount also equals the CVB cash contribution or cash down payment for the construction of the conference center. And we also have those funds immediately available to us. I would like to share just a few fun facts about the conference center facility, if I may. The conference center facility would be located in downtown at the corner of Superior and Union Streets, which is the block catty corner from City Hall. It would be connected with a bridge to a Hilton Garden Inn hotel. The square footage of the conference center in total would be a little over 55,000 square feet. And that would include 3 levels. The first floor of the conference center, which would be the main floor, would include a large ballroom. That ballroom could be divisible into smaller rooms or open in one large facility room. That could seat approximately 672 people at round tables and a little over 1,000 people theater style in the ballroom. The second floor of the conference center will include 6 breakout meeting rooms that would allow for breakout sessions for conferences or for smaller meetings. It would also include a bridal suite that could be used for weddings or could be used as a green room if we are hosting maybe a special keynote speaker for a large conference. It would also include the offices for the Convention and Visitors Bureau on the second level of the conference center. The lower level, which is a walkout style basement because of the slope of the site, the lower level would house the Auto Museum. That was purposely designed to house 10 to 12 automobiles that are either Haynes or Apperson built here in Kokomo, and those are currently owned by the Kokomo Automotive Museum. That would be on the lower level. That would also include some space if we wanted to house maybe cocktail times or private parties, kind of in a unique setting amongst the antique automobiles. Those are a few key features of the conference center, and like I said, it's connected by a bridge to a hotel, which allows guests to easily transport themselves from the conference center to the hotel without going outside, which is a key feature for many conferences that plan large conferences, either in Indiana or regionally. So that is our request today for the $3,750,000.
Well, that's a nice presentation, Sherry.
Thank you.
And is it true that Kokomo, Howard County, is the population center of the state? So we have a competitive advantage by having this convention center in Howard County because it's more convenient for the population of Indiana to meet here than really anywhere else.
We definitely have a very ideal location with how conveniently located we are in the state of Indiana for those in the north and the south. Also, our proximity to US 31 makes us an ideal location for travelers coming into conferences. So the location in the state and the proximity to main highways makes it a very ideal location for a facility like this for meeting planners that are planning statewide events.
I think something that would be interesting, I've had a lot of people, no, I shouldn't say a few people have asked me, what kind of conferences are going to come to Kokomo? I think a lot of people don't have any idea what groups have conferences. And I'm assuming that you've done some research on the various conferences we could possibly have here. I think it would be interesting if I don't know if you'd want to put that public or not, but if we could have a list maybe of some of the possible conferences that Kokomo could attract.
Absolutely. I know that several organizations and associations have reached out and to find out if we have a facility that can host conferences. Just about every organization and association that exists has either an annual or semi-annual conference. In our market study, I identified what types of conferences or meetings would be ideal for a facility like this. I mean, obviously, we are not building something to rival the Indiana Convention Center necessarily, but a facility that would host statewide conferences. Many of them usually host about between 100 to 250 people. So this would be an ideal type setting for those types of events.
And I think a lot of people think of conference centers like Indianapolis and think, well, we can't hold,
Sure.
those conferences. But I just think it'd be interesting if we had some idea, or the population had some idea of what conferences this could host.
Sure. I think it's also important to point out that there is a slight difference between a conference and a convention. It's very slightly in the size. So a lot of conventions or things that would be a larger scale is not necessarily the types of events that we would be trying to attract. It would be more organizations and association, statewide type conferences, meetings, or social events. All kinds of different clubs that meet and have large, banquets or meetings as well. So I'd be happy to provide a list of maybe possibilities that would be good fits for the facility.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
What kind of additional development do you think would spur this kind of an anchor type project like this? Have you had any companies or businesses that have been interested in expanding or building to be kind of a part of this, anchor project?
The hotel development would obviously be a piece of that, the hotel with restaurant. But I don't have anything specific to give you at this time, but we could definitely follow up with you on that.
Yeah, I would think that there would be other places that would spur additional growth with that kind of a development coming in.
Absolutely.
Is there a definite start date yet for construction? Is that too far down the road?
We are moving forward and planning for an August 13th groundbreaking for the conference center this year. Very soon. We are starting to look towards construction starting.
So, Brian, I'm not speaking for Indiana Lions, but they've had their state conventions in places like Muncie and Columbus and that, and you know what? They were looking for a spot to have it, and this was available. I'd be advocating to do it in Kokomo. Pay for that. Suggest stuff.
The anticipated opening, we anticipate would be sometime in 2026, would be the anticipated. So about an 18 to 20 month build for the facility for both sides.
Do you think that the new parking garage across the street would be adequate for parking? Will there be any additional added because of this, or?
I am not able to answer
Okay.
parking questions today, but I can get back with you with more information.
Sure.
The parking, but definitely we are looking forward to using the parking garage that's located right
It
next to it
seems like a
as parking.
tremendously ideal spot for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would there be a bridge from the parking garage to the convention center?
That would be nice, but not at this time.
You know, I was at a meeting with community leaders from the education field, industry, and governmental, and they were all excited that we were going to build this here because they send their staff elsewhere around the state to conferences, and they would happily advocate to have the conferences here in Kokomo. And they are confident that they could do it. And it was the whole spectrum, IUK, Ivy Tech, Stellite, it just goes on, hospitals, yeah. So this is really good news, and this is economic development 101 because it's outside money coming in. And that's the best kind of economic development. Yeah.
I just want to speak on behalf of the county because when I was treasurer, we tried to have their meetings, state meetings here, and people would get lost between the hotel and the place where we were having the conference. And we tried several times to have conference and could not. So this is, to me, I mean, we go to Fort Wayne or go down south. This is like a miracle for Kokomo, okay? Because not only do we have the room, but that would give us more, have more opportunity for what we have.
Absolutely. It will allow us to bring a new, completely new visitor market into our community that we're not currently hosting. So in addition to sports and other types of market groups that we currently have coming in, business, travel, friends and family, this will bring a brand new market of visitors to be bringing in to introduce them to Kokomo through meetings and conferences.
Sherry, before you leave, if there's no more questions, I'd like to just have you smile here. This is a good presentation.
Thank you.
Nobody can see it except for us. And I'd like to make sure that you get a copy of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll make sure you get it.
Thank you.
I've got one. Did you say how many rooms the hotel would have, or do you?
I do know it will be 108 rooms in the Hilton Garden Inn.
It was looking like roughly 100.
Yep, and it will also have a restaurant and a bar in the lobby area as well.
Excellent.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you for coming. And nice job being so fiscally responsible as to be able to set this money back year after year after year. Is very well planned and good financial discipline. Thank you very much. Yeah, nice job. Do you know anything about Rob Pruitt?
I believe it's kind of like half, but I think he's just appropriate that money that was given
Well,
funds.
Can we just put it off till next month? You
Yeah.
come and explain to us in person?
Yes.
Okay.
Do what? I believe so, yes.
Please.
Please.
If you
Go
would like.
go ahead, have her do it. Go ahead, it's okay.
Come
No,
on up, Pam.
So when we
and
distributed,
you
I'm
are-
sorry, I'm Pam Isaac, Projects Manager, Howard County. When the commissioners distributed the last round of opioid money, there was money given to the Unified Courts and then again to Howard County Drug Free. I can't tell you off the top of my head the exact amount. I want to say it was 70,000. Thank you.
You're good.
Thank you. No, I have a, yeah, anyway. And so when we did that, we sent out a grant application and they all sent back what they were planning to do with that money. So when the courts did theirs, they said, this is the where we're going to spend our money. Howard County Drug Free did the same. I am not prepared to tell you what that is right at the moment. But they also then their money goes into a scholarship program and people apply for that money and it either goes to treatment prevention or one more category.
Criminal justice.
I can't remember. There's 3 categories and it goes into one of those categories. And so when we distributed that money to them, they said people will go through the application process at the end of 6 months, which I'm getting ready to ask all of the last round for how did you actually spend that money. So we've tried to put some parameters in place so that we're not just going, here's money, good luck, have a great time. We are actually asking, what's your plan? And then how did you literally use that money? So we've asked for that every single time. This is not the first time Howard County Drug Free has gotten money, and so they've been very compliant with getting back their reports. So that's really all I can tell you at this point, but we did in the last funding round give them that money to be able to do that. So,
Any questions or comments for Pam?
thank you.
for coming up and explaining to us. Well, that is all the presentations for the additional appropriations. Are there any questions or comments?
Yes, one for Sherry. Was the acronym you used CVC or CVV? Victor,
B.
or CVB?
The acronym is CVB,
As in
which
Baker?
is B as in Baker.
Okay.
Yeah. Convention and Visitors Bureau, but the
got it.
CVB is an acronym for our larger organization's name.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had one question I forgot to ask Christina or Jerry. On the care of individuals, how do you see? How long will that last? Projected for bad question.
It just depends on how many people get arrested that we have to move out. The way it's going, I don't even know if that'll be enough.
I assumed not. I just was curious. Okay. Thank you.
If there's no more questions, I will entertain a motion.
So,
President, do you have a question?
no, go ahead.
Mr. President, I move to approve the additional appropriations as presented.
Second.
Motion's been properly made and seconded by Councilman Alexander and Councilman Sanders. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next order of business will be salary ordinance amendments. Auditor?
Ordinance number 2024-HCCO-31, salary ordinance amendments. An ordinance amending and increasing staffing and salary authorization to be paid county employees for the calendar year effective January 1, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, as originally approved for the year 2024, except where otherwise noted. Be it ordained by the Council of Howard County, Indiana, that for the said fiscal year, the following salary amendments are approved as additional changes to the basic salary ordinance for the same fiscal year. Necessary personal services appropriations have been approved previously to support the required expenditure of necessary funds. Lit Special Purpose Fund Jail Corrections Officers, $55,911.60. Pretrial Services Grant Fund, Part-Time Pretrial Probation Officer, $25,000.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments about the salary ordinance amendments?
So, I want to say, I think it's pretty clear exactly what we're doing. If I was really gonna be a stickler for this, I would call it corrections officers. Officer, as opposed to making that sound like that's just one person's pay. So to me, that's the sum of these increases that were given to bring the corrections officers up to the level of
It's just
It's
the
just a
name of
line
the
item.
account line.
Yeah.
the what?
It's the name of the account line. So we just put what the name of the account line is. It is for the corrections officers, but the account line says corrections officer.
Thank you for
That's
my
why.
continuing education.
We do it that way
Alright.
to attract more applicants.
Yes.
Yeah, it would, it would. So, well, having said all that and being corrected as to why we don't need to do that,
Great, it's a great question. Great comment.
I move that we approve this salary ordinance.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been properly made by Councilman Faulkner and Councilman Maple. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Is there any old business we need to tend to? Is there any new business we need to tend to? Is there any other council business we need to tend to? Are there any public comments? Well, that being said, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been properly made by Councilman Cuthbert and Councilman Maple. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion is passed. Thank you.